Holmberg resigned last spring after he came under fire for texting with a man in jail on child pornography charges. Law enforcement representatives are planning on charging the suspects involved in an animal abuse video that went viral. The horrific video shows a group of teens mutilating a cat in Menoken. Authorities say the footage is so brutal that it left state's attorney's office staff members in tears. The video made the rounds on social media earlier this year. Many viewers were left outraged and calling for justice. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Attention, the team at Glass Doctor of Fargo-Moorhead would like to share some exciting news with you. They've relocated their Moorhead store to a new home. Now you can find them nestled in the heart of the Moorhead Industrial Park, where they'll continue to serve you with the same dedication and expertise you've come to expect. So remember, the next time you notice a pesky chip or a crack in your windshield, don't wait till they become a pain in your glass. Take it to the team at Glass Doctor of Fargo-Moorhead. They look forward to serving you in our new Moorhead location.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Asian Pacific Summit underway in San Francisco. A dozen world leaders taking part, including President Biden and China's leader. But the two leaders are also meeting at an off-site location today to address issues that have created tensions over the past few years, from trade, Taiwan, and China's military aggression. ABC's Karen Travers says the robust agenda is just one part of efforts to jumpstart a dialogue.
But the choreography is also very important. Who is sitting where in the room, how the table is laid out, how President Biden comes out to greet China's President Xi, even the location of this summit. This meeting is not taking place in San Francisco where we are right now. It's actually going to take place about an hour away, separate from the APEC summit site.
At a House hearing today, the FBI director called China the biggest threat to the U.S. national security. Outside the APEC summit, demonstration groups also on hand, protesting various causes from war to human rights issues. ABC's Jacqueline Lee is in San Francisco, where delegates tried to enter the summit.
As they walked, you would see dozens of protesters swarm them, physically put their hands on them to prevent them from entering APEC. And so the delegates were then being rerouted by the police around the building to then get into APEC through a different direction.
Legislation to avert a government shutdown clearing the first hurdle last night. House lawmakers passed a continuing resolution to extend funding through mid-January. It now heads to the Senate. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
CRs are temporary funding measures that extend, in this case, the current level of government funding until a deadline in the future. In this case, there are two deadlines. One is in mid-January and one is in February. CRs are really just meant to buy you time to pass the spending bills that are needed to actually fully fund the government.
Americans cut back on spending in October, the first time for the decline of retail sales in 6 months. You're listening to ABC News.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Attention service technicians. Northern Plains Equipment, certified Case IH and New Holland dealers in Minot, Garrison, and Mandan, North Dakota are looking for top-notch individuals to join their team and perform quality maintenance and repairs on all types of agricultural equipment. Northern Plains Equipment is a value-led, 100% employee-owned company offering competitive wages, benefits, and job training. If you're ready to work in a great environment with great people, apply at plainsag.com. Northern Plains Equipment, Inc., proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus, 105 in the afternoon on this Wednesday, hump day, November 15th already, guys. Unbelievable. This time flies this year, and can you believe that Thanksgiving already next week?
How is it possible that Thanksgiving is next week, considering November started 2 days ago?
Yeah, it feels like it. Well, it doesn't feel like November either. I mean,
no.
Notice how, and maybe it's just me, but we've had really nice weather this whole month, okay? And notice how time flies when the weather is nice, but when the weather is crappy and snowy and cold, it drags and drags and drags. Is that just me, or am I spot on that?
I mean, winters fly by for me personally.
Do they?
Indeed, they do.
You love the snow. You love the
snowbird.
Man, I'm telling you. Well, we've got some pretty nice weather for today out there. I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful day. Temperatures across the area are right around the 50-degree mark, and winds are a little bit stronger than yesterday out of the south between about 10 and 25. But hey, we'll take it. We're in the low 50s actually right now across much of the area. The far southern valley already touching 60 degrees. And today's going to be another warm one with temperatures approaching the 60-degree mark. Upper 50s, we'll call it, with those south winds a little on the breezy side. We'll have temperatures tonight being held up a little bit. In fact, we're looking at temperatures overnight tonight into the mid-30s. That's a little closer to where we should be for our afternoon high this time of the year. And then tomorrow will be a tale of two stories. The morning will be okay. Temperatures in the 40s, mid-40s. And then a cold front hits right around or shortly after lunchtime. And our winds are going to whip around to the north, and they'll be gusting at or over 40 miles an hour with falling temperatures into the 30s. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we kind of mellow things out with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. So all in all, not a bad-looking forecast. It will change drastically when you get to Thanksgiving, and we'll have more on that coming up in our last segment of the show. So conditions aren't going to stay as nice as they are right now, unfortunately.
It's only getting nicer.
So
yeah.
Get out, take advantage of it. I know Dean said he was going to go out and ride his bike for a while yesterday, so I figure he's signing up for Hell's Angels for next summer because he's all ready to roll now.
Is there a Hell's Angels for pedal bikes?
You'll be the first to find out now, won't you?
I will find out, no doubt about it. Well, hey, I want to touch, I sent you guys an article. I thought this was pretty interesting about wind energy and how, basically the only wind energy that we really use, or the majority of it now, is through the wind turbines that you see out in the farmer's field. Did you guys read the article? Be honest.
Hey, Justin.
You're like, what article?
Yeah, I'm like, he assumes we read his emails, but yes, actually I did.
Did you, Justin?
I did, indeed.
All right. Well, in case for anybody that wants to know, so researchers in China right now are they're trying to get wind energy a little more efficient and affordable for just the average consumer, but small enough to be incorporated into portable electronics like smartphones. And instead of relying on the wind to turn the blades of a turbine, the Chinese team makes kind of use of the same effect that causes a balloon to statically cling to hair or other surfaces. It's called the triboelectric effect. So imagine this. Inside a small tube, the team fastened two thin strips of plastic, and when a breeze passes through the tube, the strips of plastic flutter together and apart, kind of when that balloon is rubbed against somebody's hair and then pulled away, causing the hair to stand on its end. Well, the strips of plastic rub against each other and then move apart. When they do that, an electric charge is generated and then captured and stored. They call this a nanogenerator device, and it doesn't rely on the traditional wind turbine, and it can actually generate energy from lesser wind, about 4 miles an hour, but the optimum wind speeds are between 9 and 18 miles an hour. And just figure a person swinging his arms while walking is enough power to generate this device. Now, the latest nano generator is able to power 100 LED lights, which isn't a lot, but in the future, if these devices are scaled up in size for industrial installations, they would pose much less of a risk to wildlife. as they don't have those spinning blades.
If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. It's like a graveyard for birds. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay?
See, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. So that's all good.
Okay, hold on. At any point, though, in this article, did they mention that China's concerned about their power grid because it continually goes down because it is so old, and so they have to look for other sources of energy because they are concerned they can't keep up with what they currently have due to their population?
That would make 100% sense, Bridgette. But they did not mention that.
Then, well, fine, then I'm not going to mention it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of, just everything from
an interesting thought
from the AI generated long range weather forecasting models that they're trying to come out with now to this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hey,
what a day to be alive,
technology's, right? Yeah, and technology is moving so much faster. If you think about where we were 100 years ago and the speed on which we have moved into new precisions, new power, AI, there's two different ways to read that AI. There's so many things that we currently do. I mean, there are times where I stand in my kitchen and I think my great grandma would be fascinated by my dishwasher, my washing machine, the little robot I named Wally that washes my kitchen floor. Those would be just mind blowing for her because she died 50 years ago. She would not have any idea that these things would be existing.
Okay. And when we mention, anytime we mention either two things on this show, Chinese inventions or chemtrails, we always get a call.
Oh?
Guess who? It's
Play
John.
the music.
It's John. We haven't heard from you in a while. How have you been, buddy?
He doesn't want to talk.
Is John there?
He's done.
Did you answer the phone?
Yep. John?
See you later. Bye, John.
Nope.
He might not be pulled up on the slider by chance.
He hung up?
John's
okay.
He's shy. He's shy now.
You embarrassed him.
Okay, he's calling back here. So, John.
Anywho,
how are you? Are you there, John?
I don't know. Are you there?
I'm here. So what's
Can
what?
you hear me now?
We have not heard from you in a while, but we can hear you now.
Well, I don't know why you're talking about this nano generator like it's all this like great news. I've been working on a Wagmaster 5000 I carry in my pocket.
What kind of luck have you had with that?
Well, it started my car last night with a dead battery.
And it fits in your pocket.
Just waved it around the air for a couple of minutes looking like a crazy man, which isn't unusual, I guess, for me.
I'll tell you what, John's onto something with this because I got the Wagmaster 2500 and it doesn't fit in my pocket. It's about this big or so a little backpack, and that thing will start a semi.
Yeah, see, there you go. Well, yeah, that's the old version. That's before I figured out how to miniaturize it.
Well, John, you're onto something. Do you have this patented yet?
Patent pending.
Oh, who the hell needs a patent? The Chinese are just going to copy it 20 minutes later, anyways. And change one thing. I mean, I've given up on patents. It takes so you know how the speed of government works. Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly what you say every time you call the government. It's like I'm still waiting for a clearance on a patent I submitted 25 years ago.
Should we ask what that patent was for?
Well, let me put it this way: Elon Musk is making a ton of money selling them. What can I say? At least I can afford bourbon. I don't care.
That'll cure everything.
Bridgette, you were going to say something there.
I was, and that is, I don't know what you guys do for lunch when I'm not around, but apparently it's magic mushrooms because, wow.
No, incorrect, Miss Readel. We imbibe in a liquid diet for lunch.
Ah, even better. Fair enough.
Well, John just said bourbon, exactly. And he did just get back from his relatives in Kentucky, so he smuggled back a bunch of hooch.
We don't refer to that as hooch, sir. We call that white lightning.
Okay, there we go.
Come on, don't disrespect the man here, Dean.
Oh man,
really? Really? Why are you throwing me down, with those people down in the Ozarks, for gosh sake?
John, thanks for calling, buddy. We appreciate you hearing from you.
I gotta go back to generating power.
Okay. See you later. Oh, Lord.
Oh, man.
Gotta love John, right?
From the Ozarks. Didn't see that one coming.
Man, with that being said, Bridgette, we've got a guest. I hope he's not tuning in early, but...
Oh, he is.
Okay.
So, yes.
He's not from
All
the
right,
Ozarks,
so-
is he?
No, but he is from South Dakota. And so we will have joining us here shortly is Alex Garcia. He is the Hot Iron Farrier and Farrier Supply in South Dakota. Okay, little pop quiz. We discussed this in our chat before we got started. What's a farrier? Anyone?
Oh, it's a
What'd I
boat
say?
that carries people from one place to another over water.
Right, in South Dakota. Yes.
Yeah, indeed. They have a lake down there, I heard.
I'm going to... Can you play a game with these?
You could. That's a great suggestion. Yes.
I bet it has something to do with horseshoes then.
Absolutely, because there's got to be careful. The only two things in life that you need a lot of luck are horseshoes and hand grenades. So we will have this discussion shortly with Alex. I know he is currently traveling, but he's taken the time to visit with us because we've had Nate, the hoof trimmer guy, on before, and Nate talked specifically about what he did with dairy cattle. And I think what we'll find is for Alex as a farrier is very different than that. So there'll be a lot of good questions. We want to remind all those who are listening that they can call in to ask questions. They can reach us at 701-293-9000. That's the Red Wing Shoe phone line. That'll be open to take your calls because it's kind of great fun when folks want to ask what's on their mind as well. And we will get a chance to do that momentarily. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Livestock is mixed with fats firmly higher. For the American Ag Network, broadcasting live from Kansas City at the NAFB convention, I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. Livestock is mixed right now. Fats are firmly higher, feeders are mixed, and hogs are lower. Now, firm triple-digit gains have steadily developed in nearby live cattle futures, with December and February leading the complex higher at this point. Although gains are seen through the entire complex, most 2024 contract months are showing much less aggressive support, primarily based on the expected increase in cattle placement numbers in the Cattle on Feed report to be released on Friday. Now, if report numbers come in as early estimates predict, this would add beef supplies to the market through late spring to fall next year, which is the main cause for less aggressive buyer support to be seen. However, given the previous market weakness, the complex still remains generally oversold, which without a major upset in demand or significant supply surprises, it is likely to help draw additional buyer support to the complex in the coming days. Cash cattle activity was still slow today unless some additional significant shifts are seen. Active trade is likely to be delayed until tomorrow or Friday. Bids are quiet, although a few asking prices have redeveloped in the south at 183. Asking prices in the north are still not established, but more asking prices may start to be seen before the end of the day. Box beef prices are higher, choice up 261 and select up 141 with a movement of 68 loads. We're going to look at the livestock numbers. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
When it comes to your canola fields, yield is one of your top priorities. To help you maximize it, Vigor Hybrid Canola from BASF offers a full lineup of high-performing hybrids for the 2024 season. And they all include our patented pod shatter reduction technology for unmatched harvest flexibility and exceptional results, which helps take care of your priorities outside the field. Daddy! Talk to your BASF authorized retailer to book your Vigor Canola today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Are you over the age of 60 and been diagnosed with lung cancer? If so, you and your family may qualify for a cash award. We can help make sure that you and your family are financially safe and medical expenses are covered. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer and are over 60, call 24/7. 1-844-903-1744. 1-844-903-1744. Attorney advertising. William Stephacker Jr. is the attorney responsible for this ad. Main office, Granton, Pennsylvania. May not be available in all states.
Livestock numbers, live cattle December up 192 at 177.77, February up 180 at 178.67, April up 165 at 180.45, and the June live cattle, they're up 130 at 175.02. Feeders November down 60 at 229.45, January up 180 at 230.80. Lean hogs December down 67 at 71.62, February down 62 at 75.30, and the April lean hogs, they're down 32 at 81.45. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Okay, Bridget,
you're muted.
We're having some audio problems with Bridget. Okay, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us. 1:20 in the afternoon. Temperatures in the low 50s across the area. Beautiful afternoon. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy it. There's not too many of these left. Big changes coming Thanksgiving week. And today we have our guest, Alex Garcia of Hot Iron Farrier and Farrier Supply in South Dakota. Do we have Alex with us?
I'm here today. How are you?
Good, Alex. How are you doing today?
Hey, welcome to the show.
Great.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do that people aren't familiar with. The farrier, what's a farrier supply, and what exactly do you do?
So we are here in the Blackhawk, South Dakota, just outside of Rapid City.
Beautiful area.
But what we offer here, it's gorgeous. We love it. Yeah, we offer specialized farrier products directly to the farrier. So tools called rasps, nails, horseshoes of all shapes and sizes is what we focus on, just strictly trying to provide both product and also education for the regional farriers.
Okay, so Alex, as a kid who grew up watching a farrier come to the farm to help with the couple of horses that we had, how has all of this kind of evolved? I mean, where did you grow up with horses and you decided you wanted to be a farrier as you got into your adulthood? And kind of, what was the path of history for farriers, if you will?
So I started out at a young age around horses, cattle. I did grow up on towards the Western United States is where I spent most of my time. We had beef cattle growing up, horses, but as a farrier was not a focused career of mine. My goal was either fire department, law enforcement of that realm. And it was my farrier came to the barn and decided to show me how to tack on a shoe, showed me how to trim a foot. Started gaining interest and knowledge into that trade and that craft. And I was in high school when I started into it full bore and just fell in love with the industry. As I've been at this 16 years now, both as a full-time farrier. I also spent just about a year as a teacher at a horseshoeing school. And then just about 3 years ago is when I decided to open a supply house in the South Dakota region, is what my focus was.
All right. How many farriers are around you? Because when I think about that, it's not like there's a guy on every corner with a shop that's open. I mean, it seems like you might be a sort
farriers
of a
are mainly
small
mobile.
industry. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most farriers are mobile. They travel from barn to barn or ranch to ranch. In my region, in my regional area, there's probably at least 65, I think, full-time farriers in my region. They all, because horses get done on a regular schedule, or at least should. Horses' feet, the nails grow and shoes wear out. So you're constantly seeing that same animal about every 2 to 3 month cycle. You're back trimming foot and replacing shoes about every 2 to 3 months.
And is it just horses, or do you also do like mules and donkeys?
Yes, so any of the equine breeds. So horses,
Okay.
mules, donkey, draft horses. Some guys will step out and specialize in cattle and goats in that market, but usually that's a specialized market to because it takes different equipment to trim cows, sheep, goats, etc. Mainly like I said, we're mainly focused on the equine breeds. Is where we focus our efforts on.
And Alex, what's a kind of a two-part question? Have you ever gotten injured while replacing the shoes. And if you have, what's the craziest story? What's the craziest story that you have?
You know, it's more than I can count. I know that.
Okay.
Either nails into my thigh has been a few times. And then I probably cut myself with my own tools or with the hoof on a daily basis. You know, worse injuries involved. I've been pretty blessed with, you know, everybody thinks of a farrier and they talk about, oh, your back must kill you. I've paced myself through my career and my back has held up fairly well. I would say everything else around it has fallen apart, just with the strain of the business. You know, I would say that your fingers and hands probably take the brunt of the injuries that I've been involved in.
So Alex, go ahead, Justin.
I was going to ask, what are some of the concerns that you have to keep in mind when you're working on different horses? I mean, you just don't go in there and slab something off and slab it on, do you? I mean, there's things you got to watch out for, be careful with, have an eye out if the horse needs extra attention, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So you're trimming when you go in and evaluate a horse. You're trimming live tissue, so you have to know your depth of foot and what the foot makeup is all about. You're dealing with also limb imbalance of, you know, if your shoe, your tennis shoe, was higher on one side than the other, well, it would start causing problems with your knees, and then your knees would have problems with your hips, and the same thing with a horse. Is you want to make sure your foot is balanced and the horse is landing flat to what that horse is built for. So yeah, there's a level of science involved, of knowing the tissues involved and where not to take and what to take. And at the same time, balancing, you know, your left to right, your balance of a foot in and of itself, because that affects the whole limb.
So Alex, can you walk me through the process? You arrive at farm on ranch and it's time to start evaluating. What do you do first? And just walk me through what it is that you're doing when you get there.
So when arriving on site, barn, ranch, facility, wherever it might be, usually the horse should be ready and on site and prepared for the process. We like a flat, dry, clean area is usually the best. We can do the best job possible with that environment. So first off, we start by evaluating the horse, what the horse's job is, what the environment that it lives in is. Usually how we kind of we usually record it in our minds, or some guys do write it down of what each individual horse does. But you have to go about the process of removing the old shoes. So that's usually our first step, is picking up the feet. Most horses usually, I'm going to say on average, after age 4, pick up their feet fairly well for the farrier. But then it's removing all 4 feet of the old shoes on that foot. After that process is completed, then we go into the trimming phase, where we go back to each individual foot. Feet grow on an average of, usually it's about, let's say 2 to 3 centimeters every few weeks. So you'll gain a growth rate usually within that 2 to 3 month time of almost over a quarter of an inch of growth will happen in those 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So you're basically taking a hoof knife, which is designed more as it's almost a backwards spoon that you basically scoop out excess sole that exfoliates from the bottom. That's usually the first process in trimming. And then trimming the hoof wall with a tool we call nippers. It's basically a big pair of toenail clippers is what it consists of. We trim that excess wall and keep it flat. And then there's a product called a rasp. A rasp is a product used that sands and levels and helps flatten the foot. It's like a big fingernail file is what it consists of. Any questions with the trimming process?
How long does it? How long does it take for a typical horse during the trimming process?
So the trimming process takes about 30 minutes on each end. Once all 4 feet are done.
I got two for you here, Alex. What you said that the horses, they can grow 2 to 3 centimeters of a sole on their hoofs every few weeks. What happens if you don't go in there to trim? What happens to the horse? What happens to the feet if you just skip that step or don't do it?
So they become out of balance. So either grow excess foot, that the limb itself becomes out of balance. What happens is on a limb is you have 900 pounds of pressure being applied on that hoof. What happens is that foot itself will find the path of least resistance. So commonly you might see a horse that might go excessively long, start developing extra toe or even extra heel in the process, depending where the weight is distributed. So you'll see a lot of horses that have, we call them pancake type feet, that's from lack of trimming, and they start just following the path of least resistance either at the toe or at the heel, and turn into a pancake.
So
and that causes separation. Yes, very much so. It causes separation and pulling away.
Okay. So how does that tie into, say, wild horses? Is it kind of the same thing happen to them, or is it different somehow?
One misconception with wild horses is they have a larger area to run versus a domesticated horse might have only 10 plus acres to roam. Wild horses will eventually break those feet off eventually, either on the rocks or the distance they ride. They have natural wear. So domesticated horses don't necessarily have the natural wear ability because of the environment they live in. And also too, understanding that wild horses don't live as long. They do develop problems in their limbs, in their feet, that cause them to be, become lower on the pecking order, which cause them to be preyed upon. So it's really, it's based on environment and an area that they can cover. And I've spent some time working with the Bureau of Land Management on the Mustangs, and they don't live as long, and their feet and limbs are in way more disarray than a domesticated horse might be.
All right, cool. Well, we're at bottom of the hour. We got to get caught up with with our news break here. But when we come back, we'll rejoin this conversation with Alex Garcia from Hot Iron Farrier Supplies in South Dakota. If you got any questions that you want to ask Alex or for us, feel free to give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. Emails to the program, weather or ag at flagfamily.com, and comment boxes available live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. As the only crisis center in our community, Rape and Abuse Crisis Center is here for you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We believe survivors shouldn't have to pay for healing, so victim services are free and confidential. Every person has a right to live free of violence. Talk to someone today at 1-800-344-7273. Rape and Abuse Crisis Center, Fargo.
Get ready for a heartwarming experience with Legacy Plumbing and Heating. At Legacy, our mission is simple: to provide the best plumbing and heating experience in town, while also being dedicated to serving our community.
You can make a difference today by nominating a family in need for a brand new furnace thanks to Legacy Plumbing and Heating with the Warm Heart, Warm Home Initiative. Visit WDAYradionow.com today and nominate someone in need.
Remember, life flows better with Legacy. Join us in spreading warmth and love this season of giving.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Tucker. WDAY News First. West Fargo firefighters battled a fire last night at an automotive business. Crews were called to West Fargo Self-Serve Auto Parts on 12th Avenue Northeast just after 7 o'clock. They found flames and smoke rising from the building. Firefighters were able to quickly put out the blaze. The business sustained minimal smoke and fire damage. Firefighters say an electrical fire sparked the blaze. The federal trial for a former North Dakota state senator charged with 2 federal child sex abuse charges has been rescheduled. 79-year-old Ray Holmberg will now face a jury on April 29th. Holmberg is accused of traveling to the Czech Republic between 2011 and 2016 to sexually assault children. He's also charged with knowingly receiving child abuse materials. Holmberg resigned last spring after he came under fire for texting with a man in jail on child pornography charges. Law enforcement representatives are planning on charging the suspects involved in an animal abuse video that went viral. The horrific video shows a group of teens mutilating a cat in Minokan. Authorities say the footage is so brutal that it left state's attorney's office staff members in tears. The video made the rounds on social media earlier this year. Many viewers were left outraged and calling for justice. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Don't worry about it. Just take it to Bailey's.
I purchased my dream car, a 2007 Signature Shelby Mustang, from the dealer in Scottsdale, Arizona in February. I had it transported to North Dakota. Huge mistake. Hi, I'm Bob. During the transit, the trailer hauling the Mustang tipped over due to icy roads. The vehicle that was delivered to Bailey's was unrecognizable. I was certain that the wreckage was unrepairable. The talented team at Bailey's did an outstanding job. Nightmare turned daydream.
Just take it to Bailey's.
Dad, I can't wait to be a builder someday, just like you.
Thanks, son. Yeah, it's rewarding work, but it's also hard, which is why I follow your grandpa's advice and wear quality work boots from Red Wing Shoes.
Hi, Teresa here, store manager at the Fargo Red Wing Shoe Store. For more than 100 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping companies keep their workers safe and comfortable, even in the most hazardous conditions. Stop in and see for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
When farmers think Four Seasons, they don't think a singing group. They think Thor Building. So be it 95 or 25 below, whether you're in a wet cycle or dry, farmers and ranchers know that housing their equipment and livestock is vital to success. The team at Thor Buildings understands your need. They'll give you a contract upfront and guarantee that price from start to finish. There's a reason agriculture builds with Thor. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Check out thorbuildings.com.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, in our discussion with Alex Garcia, Hot Iron Farrier, you can reach us for questions at 701-293-9000. That's the Red Wing Shoe phone line. Now, Legacy Plumbing wants to make sure that all of you have a warm heart and a warm home this holiday season. We're doing a promotion with them. And if you have someone that you believe needs a furnace, maybe they're in Cass and Clay counties, you are welcome to go to our website at WDAY Radio and send in a nomination for those you feel who should be helped out by Legacy Plumbing. And again, we want to make sure we all have warm hearts and warm homes this winter. So, Alex, speaking of warm things, your title says Hot Iron Farrier. And I had this conversation the other night with someone about a hot iron farrier versus cold iron. Is there truth to that the way you do things differently, hot versus cold, anything like you're just pounding on an anvil versus heating the shoe? Tell me how that works.
So in today's world, most horseshoes are machine made, but you have to take that machine made shoe and shape it to the individual horse. So yes, it can be done cold, and it can be done hot. It's one of those, I think what happened at about 1970, a lot of horseshoes were starting to be pre-shaped to horses' feet, so that there was less work needed to be done at the anvil to shape the shoe. Hot versus cold, you can shoe a horse either way. One thing, when you're applying it cold, you need to maintain a flat, level surface. When applied hot, we call it hot fitting. And what that does is it creates a seal from the shoe to the foot that also cauterizes all those fresh horn tubules in that foot to create a nice even seal and a flat surface. So one versus another, it's a style or a preference. Health of feet, there's more and more research being done about pros and cons to both cold and hot. We could get into a whole nother topic on that one. But that's the difference is basically it's putting it in the fire and shaping it hot or spending the time to shape it cold. My body over the years has thanked me for doing it hot due to the fact of I don't have to hit it as hard.
That's a good point.
So is there a difference between shoeing a horse and trimming on cattle? Is there much of a difference between the two, or what's that look like?
So the anatomy is different. I'm not too familiar with cattle trimming process, but I know the anatomy is different, but the material and tissue of a hoof is the same. So a lot of farriers have the skill set knowing the tissues, but just the anatomy being different because cattle have split hooves where horses have one single bone in their foot.
Okay.
And Alex, kind of like people's feet, adults, humans, their feet stop growing at a certain age. In terms of horses, A, how young do you shoe a horse? And B, is there an age where you can stop shoeing them because the hoof stops growing?
Mm-hmm. So normally right around between the ages of 3 to 4, a foot is fully developed because the bone itself is developed. So once where the bone's finished developing, that's what mimics the foot, is the bone that's inside of that foot. Usually it's from 3 to 4 is usually when you start to shoe a horse, because that's usually when the bone process and the growth rate of the limb itself stops growing, and horses usually go into work about that age. On the other end, yes, it's based on blood flow. You'll get a lot of horses that basically, heart rate slows down, metabolism slows down at older ages. And yes, the foot will slow its growth rate, but usually it's seen, after 25 years of age. It's honestly based on case by case, and also environment determines the growth rate of feet. So an older horse in one region or another might change quite a bit due to that environment, and then blood flow and growth rate does it slowly changes, but not drastically.
Hey Dean, we don't have to shoe you anymore.
Hey.
Put him out the pasture yet?
There's some
Just
days.
about.
There's some days.
Sorry, go ahead, Justin.
Oh, she was holding that one
worries.
back. She was holding that one back for a while.
I'm glad you were able to fit that one in there. So, we've been talking about a few terms here. Tissues, bone, hot, pounding nails into the hooves. Big question. Does this hurt the animal in any way?
No, it doesn't, because horses don't have any nerves in their feet. In the dead tissue of a hoof, there's minimal nerves. And so, and the nails, when you're nailing a shoe into a foot, it goes into a region, I call it no man's land. It is there basically it's non-tissue that has there's no nerves in it, and the nail itself comes out the side of the wall, and that's what attaches the shoe to the foot. Is that process of almost we call it clinching, but it's a nail going into an area called either the white line of a foot. That's basically it's no man's land. It's just dead tissue.
I see. And we've already gone over the point where it's a health benefit to do this for the animal versus not doing it. Here's my second question for you, Alex. Do you approach different horses differently depending on either situation or what the horse is being used for? And I'll give you 2 examples. Let's say it's my pet horse I just keep on the ranch out in the woods on a few acres of property. It's just the only horse I have. I ride it out in the woods on soft mud, versus, say, perhaps a racing horse. Is there a difference on how this is all approached and done?
So let's go real quick over. There's 4 reasons why you shoe a horse. You have traction, you have comfort, you have therapeutic, and you have confidence. There's also another category. I have 3 of how long you ride, where you ride, and the distance you ride. All determines whether a horse needs shod or not. And so what I do is each individual horse, if it fits into that category, then we'll shoe it, or we won't have to. If the foot's able to maintain and keep up a healthy environment and a healthy growth rate with or without shoes, that's our ultimate goal. I'm an advocate of both. If a horse can maintain barefoot, keep him barefoot, but a horse can go barefoot till he can't. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question though. And when you mentioned earlier, Alex, that people will shoe cattle, Why would you do that? Because I've never seen why a goat or a cow would need that.
Usually you shoe because let's say you're working on a paved surface or you need added traction. We don't see cattle shod too often anymore, but usually it's to add traction, and it's also so the foot doesn't wear down too fast. If I'm taking a cow and let's say running him down a road for a long period of time, that foot will wear down, and it'll wear down to a point that it will become painful for that animal. And so to apply a shoe adds a layer of protection.
What do you do with old shoes? I don't know that this is a recycling type thing.
You play horseshoe with them, Bridgette. Come on.
That's right. They sit in a pile in my garage.
Oh, okay. I'm sure there's a lot of home decor people out there who would like to see that pile of shoes. So,
welders, decorators, but mainly it sits in a big pile till I get tired of looking at it.
I bet. And
ahead,
Justin must be on mute. I saw his lips moving on the video. So, okay, draft horses. How much bigger is that shoe on a draft horse versus just your quarter horse or your palomino that you're riding for pleasure?
So your average saddle horse will be about, let's say, 5 to 6 inches wide, where a draft horse is going to be double that. So you're going to have at least 12 inches of width on a draft horse. It does depend on the breed. So draft horse is just a generic term, like a saddle horse. There's specific different breeds of draft horse, from Belgian to Clydesdale to Percheron. There's a lot of different breeds of drafts, but usually it depends on the breed, on the size of foot. But yeah, you're almost doubling or more the size of foot.
That's impressive. So speaking of all of these impressive things, Alex, as we wrap up this discussion with you, how will people find you if they want to ask questions, or maybe they need supplies from your operation?
So right now, we do not have a website. We are slowly building that at the moment. We've been in business for about a year and a half. And so it's one of those through social media is where we do a lot of our advertising. At Hot Iron Farrier Supply is our Facebook name. And then we do mail order, and also by phone is 605-858-4576 is our phone number, is where we're working through at the moment. Also, another way to contact us on questions that you might have is hotironfarriersupply@gmail.com is where we're focusing our energy. Our main focus of advertising and questions comes from the farrier industry in and of itself.
Oh, I bet you guys are a close-knit and interlocked group, is my guess. So, Alex, thank you for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. Apparently, I have to go find out what that call was about, and a message said my insurance company. So I don't know what Dean and Justin did to my pickup, but I'll find out. So, all right, folks, stick with us. We will be right back for more weather and ag headlines.
Okay, so what do Americans do at least once per week? Yep, get their vehicle washed. Take some pride in that ride and take it to Tommy's Express Car Wash. Yeah, it's a system to get you the best car wash, fast, and your vehicle looking great. 4 Tommy's Express Car Wash locations: in Fargo on 32nd Avenue and across from West Acres, and in Moorhead on South 8th Street and on US 10. So take care of that fly ride at one of the 4 Tommy's Express Car Wash locations in Fargo, Moorhead. Tommy's Express Car Wash.
Get ready to savor the moments and share the joy this holiday season. Give the gift of great food to fuel their fun at Kingpins. Now through Sunday, December 24th, visit Kingpins and pick up the perfect gift for your loved ones. When you purchase a $25 Barron's gift card, you'll receive a $5 bonus Barron's gift card. Buy a $50 Barron's gift card, and we'll add a $10 bonus Barron's gift card to your purchase. And for those who go big with a $100 Barron's gift card, you'll get a whopping $25 bonus Barron's gift card. Food and beverage gift cards are redeemable at Barron's, 48 Lounge, and Axis Tilt. This holiday season, it's all about good food and great memories. Visit Kingpins today and make your holiday gift giving extra special. Don't miss out on this limited time offer at Kingpins in Fargo.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing pain, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or are experiencing pain or numbness in your feet, pick up the phone and call us right now before it's too late at 701-929-7545. Again, that's 701-929-7545. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. Eventually, it leads to balance problems, falls, complete loss of independence, and it can lead to amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start experiencing relief from neuropathy symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-929-7545. Call us today at Dakota Clinic of Chiropractic at 701-929-7545 today.
Hey, Janae White of the Coffee Club, tell us what you like about Hot Works in Moorhead.
I love that I can get a full, complete workout in 15 minutes and not spend an hour doing a workout. My favorite workout is the Hot Blast, where I am working out at an infrared heat. Hot Works has 24-hour access, so it can work with any schedule. It's great for weight loss, improved circulation, and detoxification. Get a tour and try it before you sign up. Go to Hot Works Moorhead on Facebook or Instagram.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. This month, save nearly $7,000 on select new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500s. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. Tradition, values, and family ties.
See dealer for details. Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
What, no screaming goat, Dean? Slacking? We only got 2 of them
Totally
today.
slacking.
Can we get a third? Still slacking. All right.
Nope,
welcome
he
back
can't.
To Weather and
There we
Focus. Man, what a delay on that one. Thanks for rejoining us. We were just speaking with Alex Garcia out of South Dakota, Hot Iron Farrier and Farrier Supplies, and he left a little contact information at the end of the show. If you wanted to get that, I'm sure we'll have it posted on this video's description. But also you could go back to our show archives on our website, WDAYradionow.com. Click on the show archives, Weather and Ag in Focus, and then you can just play it back to the end of that segment, which was about 45 minutes into the show, I think, and you can pick up that email address, website, as well as the phone number to reach them if you have any questions. What do you say, guys? Should we do another hit on the forecast, see when this beautiful weather is all going to go downhill and when maybe we can start building some ice?
Well,
that's the first of never.
Yeah.
No, it's not going downhill. Not going downhill.
Yeah, this feels more like October than middle of November, with temperatures currently in the low to mid 50s across the area. We topped out at 60 yesterday. We'll make it pretty close to that today. Looks like upper 50s. I think the far southern valley will easily touch the lower 60s today or close to it. With the breezy conditions out of the south, at about 10 to 25. Tonight, only down to 35. Keep in mind, that's about where we should be for afternoon highs. It's not far off.
38's our average high.
I mean, so our overnight low is going to be closer to where our average high should be. And then tomorrow, that will start part of the change. We'll start off in the morning with southerly winds and temperatures rising up into the 40s, mid to upper 40s, it looks like. By lunchtime, a cold front swings through. You'll know when, because those winds will howl out of the north, up to 40 miles an hour, possibly gusting higher than that at times, and falling temperatures into the 30s. And then the winds will relax Friday as we top out in the mid-upper 40s, and we're staying in the mid to upper 40s through the weekend, it looks like. And next week, though, that's when we'll start to see a change. There's going to be a big storm that rides up the East Coast. It's going to wrap into Hudson Bay, and as it does, it's going to strengthen, and that is going to drag down some cold air. It looks like by Thanksgiving, we'll really start to feel the chill, and just post-Thanksgiving, We're going to have a dump of some really cold air. Nothing record-setting, but highs probably in the 20s and overnight lows down into the single digits in many areas. It's a good thing we don't have snow on the ground. If we had snow on the ground, it would end up being even colder. And there's kind of a lack of snow in far southern Canada as well. And again, when this same pattern comes back later in the winter, it's going to be even more intense cold. So kind of keep that, assuming there's going to be snowpack on the ground, which odds are by then there probably will be.
So y'all are saying cold temperatures, but I didn't hear anything about precipitation.
Doesn't look like a lot. Maybe a few flurries here and there, maybe a clipper system coming through, but I'm not seeing any big storms. So you
didn't see that really big one?
Yeah, on the East Coast.
This sounds like good travel for me.
Means
I can get places, no problems.
Well, it depends. Yeah, for now.
See, Bridgette.
Yeah, for now.
These models like the flip flop and the long range.
Yeah, but
when's the next day you're traveling? So I can just keep a little note on, when I look at the models, I can just be like, all right, let's see if this time period's changing.
Well, let's do this the opposite way. As soon as you see a change in the model, call me for my calendar.
Yeah, I'll let you know, all right?
We won't have to. We'll already know.
You'll know.
Oh, man.
Why don't we hit on an ag topic, Bridgette?
Yeah.
Let's talk about AI, because Dean brought it up earlier.
What kind of AI?
He brought up the artificial intelligence. Exactly. What's the other kind of AI? Artificial insemination.
Oh.
Okay, so we've talked about this.
We don't have a sound
times.
effect for that one.
You don't want a sound effect for that.
We don't. We don't.
Can we get a cow mooing?
Yeah, just.
Do cows scream?
Moving on. So we have. I know, and we've talked about this because we've had guests in reference to AI, not artificial intelligence, because that's even hard to find here. And so we know that it's been happening for a long time. When do you guys think was the first scientific work done on artificial insemination? What year?
1964.
I was going to say 55.
1784.
Whoa, we were way off.
An Italian scientist was able to do this with a dog who then birthed 3 puppies. And so then fast forward like 100 years, and work was being done at the University of Cambridge on rabbits and horses as well. Then we got into the early 1900s, and that's when we saw that popularity really increase. A lot of it having to do with dairy animals, which even today, 60% of dairy animals arrive by AI, not necessarily natural methods. In the 1930s, we saw a real uptick, especially in Russia, believe it or not, even prior to World War II, they were already having 1.2 million cows bred through artificial insemination. And that work has just continued and been more refined. And so when you think about the history of it, it's been around for quite a long time. We do it in order to bring the right genetics to the right places, also for the safety of the animals involved, and looking for pretty high inception rates, because even early on in the 1900s, Denmark for dairy cattle was still getting a 60% conception rate, and it's just gotten better since. So There you go. The history of AI, gentlemen.
Very, very interesting. Well, that'll wrap it up for us today. Thanks for joining us. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we got a real doctor on the show, so we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hi, this is Kevin Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer's Auction Company. Pfeiffer's November 2000.